Welcome, everybody, to Dead Talk Live, special Father's Day edition. Our special guest tonight is executive producer, director, the guy who's been with The Walking Dead since day one, Michael Satrazemis. Michael, how you doing? Happy Father's Day, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing well. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Exactly. To all the dads, happy Father's Day. I hope you're enjoying your day. We have a lot to talk about season 6, Fear the Walking Dead. So we are just going to dive right into it. Now, Michael, I asked you a question like a while back when you, Ian, Andrew, Lenny first came over to Fear starting in season 4. Did you guys have a sense when you introduced all the new characters like Maggie Grace, Jenna Elfman, and the rest of them? Did it all, like, at that point say, you know what, we're going to build this up, and we're going to build it up to the season that we just finished?
Well, I don't know if that's the original mindset going into season 4. To be honest with you, I mean, we were trying to accomplish a lot. We were trying to bring in, come over with Lenny, trying to reinvent a lot of things, trying to mix a lot of culture and new characters and things like that. I do think, Scott Gimple, Ian, and Andrew had a plan moving forward into how to kind of transition from season to season and kind of build in, what the happiness that led to all of the loss of hope and despair, which represents the apocalypse pretty well.
Yeah,
and I think that a lot of that was was led into with 4 and 5 and going into 6, the kind of anthological nature of the show. This deep dive was really just representative of the kind of strength and actors that we have and characters that we have. I mean, I think it highlights everyone's ability. It allows us as creators to kind of take deep dives with these scripts, and same with the writers.
Absolutely. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I want to give you, your fellow crew, cast, a big congratulations on what was, in my opinion, the best Walking Dead season in the entire franchise. By far. It was my favorite season in what is now 3 shows. And what you guys pulled off this season, where there was not a slow burn episode per se for the entire 16 episodes. I mean, it was just non-stop. When you started with this whole anthology, new format, were you a little apprehensive? Like, man, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? How is this going to go?
Well, personally for me, as soon as we were talking about doing it, it was a great idea. Because all of the episodes that resonate, the most with me that I've been able to, to direct are like the Lauras or the Close Your Eyes, and they are these small character, big scope, deep dive kind of episodes. And when you start pitching that's all we're going to do. Of course, as a creator, I'm going to get super excited. Everything is basically a little movie, and it's nice to be able to try to, with a common thread and a common language, to have 16 very distinct movies. It's a better way of storytelling. I think it's kind of.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. Well, it's just I think it's kind of the future of storytelling. It really resonated with me. It was a very powerful season. There were so many episodes that I didn't direct that I wish that I would have. It just really, it was something special. And I leave it to I give it up to Ian and Andrew for wanting to do this, and for I think it was risky because you don't know how it's going to resonate. For those people who are like, wait a minute, I'm not going to see my favorite character maybe for 4 or 5 episodes. You're betting that everyone's going to shine and that all the episodes are going to be strong. But really, in the end, I feel like they were, and the show benefits for it. Everyone's on point.
Absolutely. And it was all hinged on that very first episode, the premiere. Let's go back to the premiere with Michael Abbott Jr., who played Isaac, Demetrius Gross, who played Emil, yourself, you guys, Lenny James, of course, and you behind the camera. that episode was so amazing, and it sold everybody that this whole anthology was going to work. Walk us through that premiere. This is before COVID hit, when you guys did that premiere. Walk us through how filming that season premiere, did you feel an extra weight on your shoulders that you were going to have to set the tone for the anthology series?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's always a weight on my shoulders. You know, I'm very aware that as soon as we push the button and we start capturing things, that they're going to live past my life, and I'm not about creating ghosts that are going to haunt me. So I always have pressure. I create extra pressure, whatever, to try to, you know, give myself a little bit of a boost and push me a little bigger. So I think going into it, yeah, of course, I felt more pressure because we were going to do something new, but I think I was equally as excited. I mean, it felt big. It felt promising. It felt like we were going to take a deep dive story-wise and really be able to give the audience and the fans a version of a character and a version of a story with a character that was so in depth that it was going to feel, you know, theatrical, and it was going to feel cinematic. And so I don't know if it's the pressure or the excitement. You know, all of it was kind of an amazing start. I mean, I think we all knew, you know, that we were taking a risk. We were going to go after it. And you know, I think, you know, Lenny was very aware that I was, you know, throwing contacts into his eyes and changing his hair and changing his beard and 90% of his close up, and he was sick and he was dying, and he was like, "What are you not gonna affect me with?" You know? Going into it, you know. But I thought, wow, man, what he brought, you know, I think for opening a season, you felt that it was different. You know, we could really slow it down shot by shot. I knew exactly every cut for the entire episode that we're going to shoot it, and we had walked through it and talked through it and you know, really orchestrated everything. And it felt like we were making a little movie. Mm-hmm. It felt like that's what we'd be able to do all season. You know, and we're opening up kind of the book creatively, keeping our language, you know, our storytelling language, but really kind of opening up the book per episode, per character, to, you know, to discover what the script wanted and go from there. And it was, you know, I was excited at the very beginning. I was excited all the way through to the end.
What did you think when the reaction came out from the fans when the show started, but when the show premiered? How did you feel about the overwhelmingly positive reaction from the fans?
It's very happy, relieved. You know, when you believe in something as much as, you know, as you do, or this season, and it resonates with you, and you know, it feels special. It felt special to all of us, the cast and crew, you know, across the board into catering. It felt special. You know, you hope that it's going to resonate with the fans. So it's nice when it does. It's, you know, it feels great. You know, there was a lot for the fans to absorb this year, and to feel like everybody went with it, you know, and bought into what we were doing is, I mean, of course, it's nice.
Now, was the story set from the beginning how this season was going to play out, or was it a work in motion as the season progressed while you guys were filming it?
No, I mean, listen, there was a plan. I mean, when you start bringing in a nuclear submarine, you know, you've got to have the end game with that. So, you know, those bombs were going to drop and those bombs were going to explode. I did question how we were going to do it, how we were going to accomplish it, and how we were going to move forward, you know, if they did land and detonate. So I asked a few times, you know, just because anyone in their right mind wouldn't do that. You wouldn't let them land, not on a TV show. It's, you know, so it's just, it's crazy, you know. I mean, I don't think anybody predicted. Everyone thought Morgan was going to stop them somehow or something. And, you know, I was really concerned with how he would execute, you know, because it's pretty tough to execute a nuclear explosion.
You caught a lot of. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you caught a lot of people off guard because I was one of the people who was like, okay, the heroes are going to come in, Morgan's right at the door, they're going to stop this, no launch. But you guys went against the grain. Those bombs flew. Those bombs flew.
That's what I love about it. It's just nobody, nobody in the right mind would let those things land and detonate, I think, it's a show inherently, it's expensive. What do you do moving forward? There's all kinds of questions that come with that. And I think even the audience and the fans, everyone is so, acutely aware of television now and what it takes to make good television. I don't think anybody thought, that they were going to let it land, because what do you do moving forward? And, what do we do moving forward?
Well, you guys obviously have that planned out because you're shooting season 7. But now let's break it down character per character. Let's start with Strand. Okay. Strand went back to his old ways in the most part of the season, okay? He joined up with Virginia. We know that he built a coalition against her. And then in the finale, he really crossed the line when he pushed Morgan into the walkers. Is there any way back for him? I actually, at that point, was thinking, Colman Domingo may not make it to season 7. I was questioning when he did that. I knew Morgan was not going to die. But when it comes to Colman, I'm like, whoa, they may kill him off before this episode is even over. But he lives, and he is a character, one of the most fascinating characters on the show, who, in the finale, he really admitted to himself, he is not the guy that Morgan wants him to be. The guy that, let's go help people, let's go save people. That's not who he is. How do you guys grapple with that?
Well, I think first off, that in the finale, that was one of the best performances of the entire year. I mean, we talked a lot about it in prep and how it was going to move forward and what we wanted to accomplish scene by scene going through. And Colman just knocked it out of the park 100%. I mean, as of Strand, I think, listen, he's being true to himself. I think, at least he was willing to admit it after the nuclear bomb went off. He did claim to be Morgan Jones, but yeah. I think, staring out a window at the face of a nuclear bomb and then having it detonate and not kill you, it probably rewires your entire DNA. It definitely probably gives you some delusional aspect, thinking maybe you're the only one who would live and that maybe you're the only one who can't die. And maybe you've been right all along. There's a lot of things to kind of take out of that I think Strand is taking, and he'll move forward with that. I mean, that was quite a transformation speech at the end of the episode, and and he nailed it. I mean, it's a powerful moment. It's really nice when you get into a place and you're looking at a performance and you feel it resonate all the way through your body and shoots chills up your spine, and you realize that you're definitely witnessing something amazing that is beyond the truth. And I think that Colman brought a version of Strand that will carry forward into the future, and we'll see maybe a different kind of iteration.
But you were right when you said that Strand, even when Morgan was swiping the keys to get into the control room, at that point, Strand is even still trying to defend himself. Aha, so I made the right decision by pushing you in, or else you would not have these keys right now. And Morgan's like, stop. Just stop. And then when he runs away in the finale and he meets up with the new guy, again, I'm Morgan Jones. Then he's like, well, no, I'm not Morgan Jones. You're right. The performance by Colman was amazing. The performance by everyone was amazing this whole season. The next character I want to move on to is Jenna Elfman, June. She was amazing this season. Of course, we all know that the loss of John Dorie was really meant to propel her character, as well as others. John Dorie's death affected everybody. Alicia, Morgan, everybody. But of course, it's going to affect his wife the most. she became a new character after his death, and her assassination of Virginia was just a starting point. How deeply of a change, and how do you feel Jenna handled the change from that pivot moment of her husband's death?
Well, I think, listen, yeah, June probably had the largest single character arc of the season. I mean, it was monumental, the loss of Dory, for every character, but obviously for June, it was our one true love story, other than Morgan and Grace, which is a little more complicated, especially now at this point. Moving forward, Jenna, she embraces all of this to the fullest. I think she loves challenges. I mean, she has, since day one, scene one with her, she has grabbed the dramatic role of her career and taken it, and she prepares. She's insatiable. She wants more information constantly, and change she's not afraid of. I think that's the one thing that's amazing, about Jenna, is that she embraces those sort of things. Most people would be like, "Whoa, what's going to happen? How am I supposed to do this?" And she loves that there's no stagnation, and I think it's important to show that there isn't stagnation. That's why these deaths, as much as they're shocking and they're heartbreaking, and personally we all lose somebody that we love, creating with. They're a necessity in the apocalypse. They drive, they drive. They're a catalyst to everybody's arc, and and just something that we've established is very accurate to the apocalypse. People will die.
Yes.
People you love the most will die. It's part of it from day one. 10 years ago on the Walking Dead. So
exactly, and it's still true today.
Yeah, but June moving forward, I mean, there's a lot to deal with, and I think getting Dory Senior, getting Keith Carradine has been amazing for the show, and it's always kind of shocking to think when you lose somebody of Garrett Dillahunt's quality, and it's like we're never going to find someone else to come in and be strong. But there are just a lot. There are a lot of really talented, beautiful, giving, amazing actors out there, and over the years I've gotten to meet a lot of them because I've been attached to a show that kills many.
Yeah, and Garrett has been. He's gone on the public record saying that he loved and would never trade in his time on Fear the Walking Dead. Did Garrett know going in before filming season 6 that this was going to be his final season?
Yes, I think he knew. Yeah, he did know. There were discussions over that. I mean, I think sometimes it's debatable what episode it's going to be. Just until they break everything out. But Garrett knew.
Okay. Okay. Now, Ian and Andrew have gone on the record recently and said that you guys were in the process of finishing filming the finale, which you directed. You directed the season premiere, the mid-season finale, the mid-season premiere, and the season finale. 4 episodes, or at least those 4. Were there more this season?
Yeah, there were 6.
6. Okay, so 2 more that I missed. Okay, now
I did In Dreams with with Grace and the baby, the pink tree episode, and then I did the one with Austin and Christine. And,
that was awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to get to them in a second too, but Ian and Andrew have gone and said publicly that you guys were in the process of wrapping up the finale, which you were directing, when the whole COVID shutdown happened. And there were talks during that long break before you guys got back on the set late summer, early fall of last year to resume, on whether you guys had enough material to give us a full 8 episodes for the first half. But it was ultimately decided that that last few moments with Garrett turning into a walker was very important to do. First of all, I'm assuming Garrett had to come back again after all those months away. I'm sure he didn't have a single problem with that. As a director, how was it for you getting back in the mindset into going back to filming the final few minutes of an episode that you started
Well,
6 months earlier?
yeah, I mean, look, it was rougher on Garrett than anybody. I think when you know you're leaving and you're right up to the point, and we saved the final scene because it's just normally what you do for everybody. I mean, for everyone, it's a personal thing. You don't want to go to the end that when there's a big death, you don't want to shoot that early in the scene in the episode. So you try to save it and do it. Of course, this was one of the rougher ones to miss for 6 months. And poor Garrett, had to just sit and wait it out and not talk. I mean, I can't believe that that it didn't leak out in advance. I mean, I think maybe it was because of the pandemic, but everybody was very responsible, and I was concerned going back into it whether it would turn out great. But I think we all had 8 months of sort of 6 months of rehearsing it in our heads. I think it was really easy, and Garrett was amazing walker, slithering around in the mud. It was awful. I mean, almost everybody cried while we were shooting it, and it kind of came out there. It was semi-anticlimactic just because we had so much going on. I was at that point we got back. We were just hoping that we could continue shooting, on a day-to-day basis at that moment. So. And Garrett, spoke to everybody, and and we sent him on his way. He's I couldn't ever imagine anyone other than him playing Dory. What he brought, this simpleness that he brought to this complicated man, and how he always consistently brings the truth. It's 100% believable, and really just kept us all captivated. And drove the story. I mean, it's Morgan's best friend. It's, it was it was a big thing, but that was our kind of step back into shooting from that break. So it was just really it was an odd time. I think we were all white knuckling for that first episode back out going into 9 and shooting through. I know that when that wrapped, I was in the van and I almost collapsed.
Wow.
And I realized that I almost collapsed because I think I was just holding my breath through an entire episode. It was great to create again. Didn't matter masks or not. It's creation is a really good diversion for all the world's problems, at least for us. And I'm really proud of what we did during, all of this, coming back to shooting and the COVID protocols. I'm really proud that we were safe and kept everybody safe, that we really didn't have to shut down, and still the quality of the work. I was worried about having to put an asterisk on an episode and apologize to everybody and say sorry, COVID, but really we don't back down. We've got 300 people that really go at it and realize what we can do together, and go for it, COVID or not.
Exactly. And you guys did you guys did an absolutely fantastic job. Now, next character that we have to talk about, Dakota. Wow. Now, my explanation for Dakota is that, well, she came to age during the apocalypse. She was a kid. She had witnessed some horrible things. We find out that Virginia is not her sister, but her mother. That actually makes a lot of sense, because it always bugged me the amount of care that Virginia had for Dakota. It went beyond sisterly to me. I'm like, there's something off there, but I never suspected she was her mother. I don't know why, but I never did. And then that came out, and we find out that it's Dakota that saved Morgan, and how much of an influential young woman she is. She will bind to whoever accepts her as who she is. She sees no problem in killing, because that is the world that she grew up in. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why she bonds with Teddy, John Glover. She also had a great arc, and I was surprised with the finale. I would have almost bet that Dakota would have transferred over into season 7. Walk us through her arc. And Zoe Colletti, hats off to Zoe. She did a fantastic job as Dakota. Walk us through Dakota's arc.
Well, I mean, I think it's, it's like you described. The kids of the apocalypse, they're kind of working under a different evolution. I mean, we always play with those sort of themes in the apocalypse, the right and wrong, and can the old, human with humanity and trying to save everyone really exist in the apocalypse, or whether it's, a new build where we've all had to do something bad and you've got to kill to survive. And I think growing up as a child, that new evolution takes over, and it gets very distortive for the way that people think, and I think Dakota was trapped in that world, and I watched her sister mother do some horrible things, and watched the world around her kind of change shape, and she was adapting to it and thought it was right. And the kids of the apocalypse are pretty broken, as we've kind of shown in both sides.
Yeah.
So now, another episode.
Dakota, I mean, it really surprised me. First of all, she takes out Teddy, which he deserved. The guy was, John Glover could not have done a better job at portraying a psychopath than Teddy. Oh my God, that guy was just scary. But he was conniving. He was not totally insane. We find out in the end that he was not willing to die with everybody else. He had a place to stay safe. And that's what ultimately led to his death through Dakota. Was Dakota also only lasting through this season preset in stone, or did you guys grapple with that as the season progressed?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's an Ian and Andrew question. I mean, I will say, television to a certain extent is organic. You can fall in love with somebody when they come in for a character in an episode and realize that their role is starting to get expanded, which I actually really like about television, is that somebody can come in and and bring you a character that you're so in love with that the next thing you know, we're all talking about it, and the roles start getting expanded. So, I think it was tough now, I think, with Dakota. I mean, how could you forgive her? She needed a way out. I mean, she wanted to be loved, but she was so broken. There wasn't anywhere that she was going to get that love. And I feel like at least her character had a semi redemption in the end to take care of Teddy and, make sure he doesn't have a chance to shoot off all the other missiles on the sub and completely annihilate the Earth. And she got to watch a nuclear explosion up close.
Her last thing she saw.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest differences between Charlie and Dakota? What separates Charlie that earned Alicia's forgiveness for killing her brother, as opposed to Dakota? What is the biggest thing, do you think, that separates those two characters?
Well, I think that Dakota knows that killing is wrong, but she doesn't believe that in any way, shape, or form. I think she hears other people say it. She might be closer to the sociopathic kind of mentality. She knows how to play certain things to in certain ways, but she's going to kill, and she's going to kill over and over again. And I think Charlie is not that way. She's not a sociopath. She's was a misguided child that was caught up in something and now has grown to be a part of a family and be supportive. She was a kid of the apocalypse just trying to survive.
And Charlie showed remorse.
Yeah.
Dakota never showed remorse. And
Dakota.
Dakota's
a sociopath.
That's a sociopath right there. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, what you guys did also this season is you went through two major storylines in a single season. You wrapped up the Virginia and the Pioneers, and then we went quickly into the Teddy storyline, which when it started, I would say there's no way this is going to wrap up in 4 episodes. This is going to carry on into season 7. Again, surprised. Now, is that you guys learning from past mistakes in the franchise about dragging a story out for too long?
I don't write any of the episodes, so I don't know. We don't talk about past mistakes in that way. It's more about reinventing. We try to reinvent everything every season and every half season. Try to be we try to do that. That's just something I think creatively that we all love doing. And I think we maybe went into hyperdrive. I think the excitement of the anthology and the anthological structure was really inspiring on every level. So, maybe it kicked everything up into gear. I think it's more of a question for Ian and Andrew there, but I like our speed of travel. I like our pacing. I think you have to pace a season the same way you do an episode. You've got to really be aware of how you're going to play scenes and how you're going to pace the entire episode and kind of, orchestrate it. So it's a wild ride, and that it stays exciting. And then there's also times that you just need to pause and just gently lay it back out for the audience and allow them to get their heartbeat and their rhythm back. And then you take it all away again,
And the way season 6 ended, it leaves you guys so many options into going into season 7. So many options. Now, 2 other characters I want to discuss, and that is Dwight and Sherry, Austin Emilio and Christine Evangelista. First of all, bringing back Christine to Fear from The Walking Dead, that was a brilliant move. She's a great character that we did not get to really explore that much on The Walking Dead. We know that she was Dwight's wife. We know they went back. Her punishment was to become Negan's wife. She's the one that let Daryl escape, and then she vanished. Dwight, we saw his arc carry out through entire season 8 of The Walking Dead, and he disappeared, and he shows up on Fear. Great. Austin Emilio, wow. He's such a great actor. Brings Dwight, and Dwight has transformed into such a fan favorite. How do you think bringing back Christine Evangelista affected Dwight's character and his development?
Well, I think it just kind of expanded what he was able to do, the stories you're able to tell. It was a single-minded sort of structure with Dwight. He's willing to walk across the entire country in search of one person, in search of love, and that was his sole existence. I think in the apocalypse, you grab a hold of one thing to try to keep from going insane and try to live for another day, and that was nothing better than love. Getting Sherry back, it kind of it gets to play with a lot of themes. It gets to play with what about now? What do we do now? Can you have love in the apocalypse? Can you have a family in the apocalypse? A lot of the things they had written discussions about this, and I love in the last episode that it really comes down to maybe we don't have to just go out and try to hunt down this one person and kill, and maybe we're not always going to be victims. Maybe we should go out and kill people. Shooting that guy, that conversation back, towards the shelter, yeah. Where they're like, maybe we should be doing this all along. It's like if there was this oddly romantic moment as these rockets were plummeting to the earth, and I think we'll probably explore that into the future. Exactly. But I think it opens up the gamut for Dwight. I remember Austin's first day on The Walking Dead vividly, like it was yesterday. I remember when he came on, and he's been nothing but an amazing human being and great actor since then. So it's nice to really see that he gets to kind of have an expanded kind of role. His character gets to have a larger arc, and I think it's important. And Christine, she's been game since she's come here, you know.
And I'm glad Sherry finally realized that her mission to hunt down Virginia was just a surrogate for Negan for her. And I'm glad at the end that finally clicked into her head. That she's like, I'm going to go back to Virginia and kill Negan. That's what I need to do. No. Because I'm glad that Dwight convinced her that, you know what? Even if you do kill him, it's still not going to make you feel any better. And bringing
She was stuck in a rut, you know? And it's nice that it feels like they've come through that. I mean, I think, you know, for a lot of the characters, the nuclear bomb was a very clearing event, you know. It was a very transparent kind of event, and it will be exciting to see how everybody reacts moving forward, if they are all alive. Who knows?
Okay, now let's move on to Alicia. Now, Alicia had some very big episodes this season. She was not part of the finale. We saw Teddy lock her up in the bunker. His plan is that she is going to be the leader of his new future. We know he's full of crap anyways. He was going to be a part of that. He was always going to run the future as long as he had breath in him. But he locked her up, and we did not see her with the other people that were chosen to lead the new future. Now, were there talks about giving Alicia some time in the finale, maybe showing us a little bit of what this bunker looked like, or was that just, you know what, let's keep this till next season, if it's going to happen next season?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I mean, we know that that's one of the government bunkers. It's meant to survive a nuclear explosion. There's a pretty good chance you're going to see her. You know, we tapped in with that in the last episode, but you just saw the hallway that she first arrived in and was locked up in, you know, taking the hit, you know, and getting the explosion. And I think that, you know, we'll see moving into the future.
See what happens with her.
She's a part of the show.
Oh yeah, huge part of the show. And she was not in. She was not in that many episodes as fans would have expected, but in the episodes she was in, like the introduction of bringing Cole back, which was great. And at the end of that episode, she had to kill him. This was once her friend. They shared the stadium together, and she had to kill him because he had gone over to the dark side, for a lack of a better term. So her episodes, even though there were not that many, they were powerful, they were impactful, and they were completely appropriate for her character in regards to Alicia. Now, let's talk about Grace, Karen David. Grace. Let's talk about Grace. Her relationship with Morgan is very complicated. How do you feel now that this season's over in regards to how Grace's character was handled? Any regrets? Anything that you would have liked to have seen done differently with her character?
No, I don't have any regrets. I to tell you the truth, I begged to direct In Dreams. It was something when they pitched it, the story that I really wanted to tell. You know, it's dark and it's sad. It also opened up kind of the creative world on our show. You know, our language. If you're in somebody's head, you can kind of explore all of the rules not really being rules anymore. Yeah. And it was a fantastic episode. You know, there was a lot of talk about what we would do with the baby once it's pregnant, but you know, I mean, that is just how radiation and you know, and fetuses work. You know, it's the babies save their mothers by absorbing it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a great point.
I'm glad that we went there. I'm glad that we talked about it. You know, I mean, it's a subject that most people kind of throw under. There's a lot of women in my life that, you know, that have had a miscarriage or, you know, a stillborn baby. It's one of those things that, you know, that people that occur, and women just kind of are meant to move on and not talk about it. And so, you know, I was proud that we did do that to a certain extent. You know, the Morgan Grace relationship that's a complicated one.
It is.
Moving forward, but I like it. I mean, that's what we're here to do, is to explore the complications. It's the apocalypse. If it was a fairy tale, well, then it would be different. But we don't get a lot. We don't get a lot of those, And I think, listen, it's going to be explored moving forward. It was tough in 2016. Watching that guy when we were shooting it, the gun going up to the head before baby Morgan, was heard crying. It's just, that was a brutal scene. And Karen David her acting has gone to a next level, and it's the anthology, getting these deep dives character wise. I think it really allows all of our actors to get on point and lead episodes. And she was just amazing to watch her perform and to integrate with her. Like it was more than a pleasure.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about Ruben Blades, Daniel, and that one amazing episode. I loved how that was shot. Him telling the story from what we see initially, him being behind bars, so we know something terribly wrong has gone on. We just don't find out until the end. This man is, he has 9 lives, to put it mildly, Daniel's character. I love the fact that we got to see the damage that was caused to him when Strand shot him in the face, when he went and he pulled out the fake teeth, the pain that he lives through day in and day out, how close he came to killing Strand, who now we could say might have deserved it, but anyways. What'd you think of Ruben Blades' performance in that single episode? He's an amazing actor. I mean, talk to us about that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've had a few scenes with Ruben, but until the anthological thing kicked in, nothing huge. But listen, he's one of the world's greatest performers. And when you see him connected into a scene, into something, he's one of the most powerful actors we have in our entire ensemble. So to have that rich story told through him, narrated by him, and told in 2 timelines through him, again, he's, another one. Just these scripts, when you get them and you read them, if you're in them, it's about you, and you get to shine, and that's what's been great about the anthology. And Ruben, he killed it. Absolutely.
He was amazing. He was amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
That episode is one of my top favorite episodes of this season. If it's hard to pick, it really is hard to pick. Now, going back to the directing aspect, you had to go back after COVID, wrap up episode 8, and then you also directed episode 9. The last time you were here with us, I asked you a question, and you said that normally directors don't do back-to-back episodes because there's just not enough time for preparation and stuff. How was it like for you as a director, literally having to finish up one episode and then go and direct the following episode?
Well, it was only one day of episode 8 that we had to shoot, Dory's death. And you can't do 8 and 9 normally, but I had a 6-month break, so it was easy to absorb the material. But it was a new world that we were going into. Nine was, who knows whether we're going to be able to shoot a day or not a day, getting tested 3-4 times a week, wearing masks, all face shields, all of these crazy things, locators, and can't stand near anybody. And it was a different world. I was really thankful that I got to direct the first one back, just because it would have been hard to stand around and be stressed. It was easier to be right there with everybody, on the battlefield, kind of hands-on. And I was really thankful that I was occupied with that amount of work, that we were trying to prep, and I was directing, and doing both jobs kind of kept me from from overly thinking about it and stressing, until I was done with the first episode, and then I nearly collapsed. But yeah, it was great. It was great. So I mean, it just kind of COVID allowed me to have 8 and 9. Thank you, COVID. But it was nice, and I also I wasn't originally scheduled to direct In Dreams, and when COVID hit, we had to cancel all of our contracts and everything, and just because there was so much unknown. And I did ask that when we come back, I was going to do 15 and 16, and I said, can I please have In Dreams? I really want to tell that story. It's something I want to explore. So I got a little bit out of all of it, I guess.
That was good. It was amazing, that finale and that premiere. And I told everybody here that this episode 7 is the pseudo finale, and episode 7 ended off with June going one way, and that's when we see John Dorie going his own way. And we as fans knew that it would take a lot. So at that moment in the final scene where they're going separate ways, and us knowing the kind of love that John Dorie has for June and what turmoil he must be going inside for him to leave his wife behind, really brought it home to bring it into episode 8, which was his death, and really give us a great just inside look into the turmoil that this man was feeling. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in 7, when you realize that Dorie can't actually, and I think it was established in 4, really after he kind of made that deal with Ginny and let that death slide.
Yeah.
And June came there to visit him. You could see it. You could see that he had gone too far, and it wasn't, there was no turning back, from what it was. And for him to decide to leave and to leave it all behind, it made sense when we opened up 8 and he was trying to find a way to shoot himself. Yeah. And the walkers kept keeping him from being able to do that, but which I thought was just such an amazing opening.
It was an amazing opening. Let's talk about a little bit about Maggie Grace, Althea, Al. We all love Al. Al and the CRM. That's the big connection in Fear. Al and Isabel. Al finally makes the decision once she finds out, I believe, about the potential threat, to go and warn the CRM. Are we as viewers led to believe that the CRM, which we know now from World Beyond, we have gotten an inside look into the CRM, and the CRM is very prevalent in Fear as well. We don't know why yet, but we're going to find out why. I think all roads on all 3 shows are all diverging to a CRM kind of explosion, but that's for another time. Now, with Maggie Grace's Al leaving to tell the CRM, are we led to really believe that the CRM, being this shadow organization that was formed before the apocalypse happened, that they have no idea that there's unsecured nukes out there?
Well, I mean, I think we know it's not necessarily the CRM. It's Isabel that came to rescue everybody. We do know that they're on a CRM channel, and that they're everyone has to check in. Isabel's rogue, and that we've established what they're willing to do. That they will come and extinguish everybody to try to keep themselves quiet. And I don't know. Well, we don't know yet whether I don't think they know that sub was there, but maybe they know the nukes are in the air. I'm sure they're going to know that the detonations are. I think everyone, on the planet will know the detonations exist.
Exactly.
Moving forward, you would think. Originally I thought it was a great way to end all 3 shows.
It is.
Just set them off and they all end.
Yeah. And the way I
But
see
that's
it,
not the way it's happening.
the way I see the promos, and I don't expect you to answer this, but the way I see the promos for season 7 is sort of like, like a nuclear winter has befallen over Texas, and showing the survivors literally separated. They're not together. They're fragmented now.
Yeah,
Everyone's
very
not in
much
the
so.
same place. We don't know if Morgan Settlement is still even standing. Morgan Settlement might have gotten hit by the warheads, or might have been close enough to have gotten completely destroyed. We have no idea of what the future holds for this group. We do know that they're fragmented, but to tell everybody, it's a great idea. And, nuclear winter has befallen over Fear the Walking Dead. I could see the promo teasers for that already. That would be great. Now let's talk just a little bit. We're almost out of time. The Walking Dead is going into its final season. Any invitations to go back to Georgia to partake in the final season whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I've been asked, and I want to. I just we have to see how all these schedules go now. Everything's kind of
Filming the
post
same
COVID.
time.
Well, post COVID, everything's shooting the same time, and our seasons are very expanded. We're not shooting 12-hour days or 14-hour days. We're shooting 10-hour days, and episodes have gone from 8 and 9 day episodes to 10 and 12, and
Okay.
so it's something I don't know how or whether I can yet. I
I
would
hope
like
you
to. I
do.
mean, I've been a part of it every season. It's what it's what made me. It's what got me here. It's my family. It's my origin story. It's got people that are my family and that I love over there. So if I can, I will. Um, and then we have to wait and see
I would
moving
love, yeah.
forward what's going on.
I know the scheduling is all a mess right now, but I think it would be great to see you go back to where it all started for you and just do at least one directing of the final season, whether it's in this part A of the first 12 or the final 12 in next year. I think it would be great to go back. Now, the last time you were also here, we're almost wrapping this up. We're almost out of time. I asked you a question about what it was going to be like when you go back post COVID. Were you going to be working with a skeleton crew? And you actually said there were going to be more people because of COVID. Did that actually happen? Were there more people, health people there than previously?
Yeah, we didn't scale down crew in any department at all. And then there were two more new departments. I mean, we have a health and safety in the office. We have our own lab, because we had to be able to guarantee results. We got a lot of problems, or a lot of shows had problems with test results, and if there was a spike in the area, that all of a sudden results would come a day or 2 days later, and we had to be able to guarantee that we could have everyone tested and have the results in 3 hours. So we put a lab in at the office, and we had a mobile lab out on set, and then we have health and safety people, from the studio to on set and everywhere else. We had an entire cleaning crew, with a team of people that cleaned. So that's why we went to 10-hour days, so we could sterilize all the equipment after wrap. And so it actually increased the size of our crew as opposed to gearing down. It takes a lot to keep everybody safe, and
It
and
does.
it's a testament to what everyone set up for us, because we stayed safe and
Is
made it
there
through.
Is there any laxing now that we're kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, hopefully, at least here in the United States, of this COVID thing? Are you guys sticking to the same protocols you had in October, or is there any laxing a little bit, trying to loosen
Yeah,
up?
not yet. We haven't loosened anything. We've stuck to the same protocols we had in September and October. Until all of the unions get together and discuss how we're going to move forward. We're wearing masks, and most of our crew is fully vaccinated now at this point, and we are still going through the same exact protocols, to keep those that
Everybody's safe.
are not vaccinated safe. Yeah, and that's what we'll do moving forward until we decide as an industry, how we're gonna move
forward. And yeah, it's not just the Walking Dead universe, it's film, television. Everybody's trying to, even down to distribution, they're all trying to find the new formula on how the future is going to work. Michael, man, I love talking to you. It's been an honor having you back. Thank you so much for just being an amazing director and being a part of, like what I said, was the best season in the Walking Dead universe. And that was season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. By far, hands down, in my opinion. And that's saying a lot in a show, in a franchise, in a mega franchise like the Walking Dead universe, where you guys were able to bring us pre-COVID, after COVID for the final 9 episodes was just, it's unreal, really, if you think about it. And yeah, that talk about asterisks on the final 9, yeah, you can forget about that. I didn't notice any difference. You guys did a fantastic job. So hats off to you, to your fellow crewmates, the cast, everybody. You guys are doing an amazing job. We are all just thrilled and waiting for season 7. I have no idea what's in store for season 7. We just got to wait and see. But I know you guys are going to bring us one hell of a whopper in season 7. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Last question. Season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead. You've been the guy that's been with this universe since day one. Is it the season that is dearest in your heart in the entire universe?
In my new creative iteration, I would say absolutely. And then I'll always, I mean, the dearest place is that day one, the season 1, before the show was ever big, before anyone said we were cool, when we were all just standing in the dirt in Georgia, looking around and thinking we have all the right people in the right place. That will always be probably the most special to me, just because it was our origin story, you know, and we had no reason, we had no fuel from a giant audience or people backing us, you know. We just looked around and went, there's an amazing story, and holy shit, there's the right people here to tell this story with. We better not mess up this opportunity. Let's just go for it. And that would, you know, that to me is beyond special. And, you know, and only those of us who were there and looked each other in the eyes know what that really felt like. And that will always
And here you are, special. Here you are, 11 years later, still doing it, and that's phenomenal. 11 years, Michael. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to Michael Satrazemis for being our guest. Guys, be safe, and until next time, on behalf of Michael and myself, guys, stay walking. Good night.